Title: The Last Caller. Marcus Hale had always believed the night told the truth. From midnight to 3 a.m., when the city quieted and the distractions faded, people called his radio show and said things they would never admit in daylight. Regrets, confessions, sometimes love, often loneliness. Marcus listened, asked gentle questions, and stitched their words into something that sounded like understanding. It wasn't glamorous work, but it mattered, or at least it used to. Lately, ratings were slipping. Corporate wanted something sharper, louder, more sensational. Marcus, at 42, felt like a relic of a softer time. Still, he showed up every night, slid on his headphones, and greeted the darkness like an old friend. "Good evening, night owls," he said into the mic. "You're listening to After Hours with Marcus Hale. Let's talk." The lines lit up. The first call came at 1:17 a.m. "Line 3, his producer Lila said through the glass, raising an eyebrow. "No caller ID." Marcus shrugged and pressed the button. "You're on the air." A pause, then a voice, calm, measured, and oddly distorted, like it was slipping through static that didn't exist. "Marcus Hale," the caller said. "You need to listen carefully." Marcus smiled slightly. Late-night theatrics. "All right, I'm listening." "There will be a fire tonight," the voice continued. "Warehouse District, 2:03 a.m. It starts small, faulty wiring, but it spreads." Marcus leaned back. "You calling in a prediction or a confession?" "A warning." Marcus glanced at Lila, who mouthed, "Weirdo." He chuckled lightly into the mic. "We appreciate your concern, but maybe you should call the fire department." "You won't believe me yet," the caller said. "But you will." The line went dead. Marcus shook his head. "Well, folks, that's a new one. Psychic arsonists." He moved on, taking other calls, laughing it off. At 2:11 a.m., Lila burst into the studio, pale, holding her phone. "Marcus," she whispered, "there's a fire." Warehouse District. His stomach dropped. The next night, Marcus couldn't stop thinking about it. Coincidence, he told himself. Lucky guess. The city wasn't exactly immune to fires. Still, at 1:17 a.m., he found himself staring at the blinking phone lines. "Line 3 again," Lila said quietly. Marcus hesitated, then clicked it on. "You're on the air." "Now you're listening," the voice said. Marcus swallowed. "Who is this?" "That's not important." "It is to me." "You can call me Daniel." The name meant nothing. Still, Marcus felt a chill. "All right, Daniel. What do you want?" "I told you. I'm warning you." "About what?" A pause, then, "At 1:42 a.m., a car will run a red light at 5th and Mercer. It will hit a woman crossing the street. She'll be wearing a yellow coat." Marcus's grip tightened on the desk. "If this is some kind of game, stop it," Daniel snapped, the first hint of emotion breaking through. "You think I enjoy this? You think I want to relive it?" Marcus froze. Relive what? But the line went dead again. This time Marcus didn't laugh it off. At 1:35 a.m., he told Lila he was stepping out. She stared at him like he'd lost his mind. "You're leaving the show? For a prank call?" "I just need to check something." He drove like he hadn't in years, heart pounding, mind racing. 5th and Mercer wasn't far. The streets were nearly empty, traffic lights blinking in the night. 1:41 a.m. He saw her, yellow coat, standing at the corner, waiting for the signal. Marcus jumped out of his car. "Hey!" he shouted, running toward her. "Wait!" She turned, startled. The light changed, and then a blur of headlights. Marcus grabbed her arm and yanked her back just as a car tore through the intersection, horn blaring, missing them by inches. The woman gasped, trembling. What? What just? Marcus couldn't answer. He was staring at the empty road, his pulse roaring in his ears. Back in the studio, everything felt different. You saved her, Lila said, eyes wide. Marcus, what is going on? I don't know, he admitted. But at 1:17 a.m. the next night, when line 3 lit up, he answered without hesitation. Daniel. Yes? Marcus leaned forward. Who are you? A long silence. Then, I'm you. Marcus almost laughed, but the sound died in his throat. That's not funny. I'm not joking. Prove it. Another pause, softer now. Your father used to call you Mars when you were a kid. You hated it, except after he died, you missed hearing it. Marcus's chest tightened. He hadn't told anyone that, not even Lila. You keep a photo of him in your desk drawer, Daniel continued. Bottom left. You look at it when the calls get too heavy. Marcus's hand drifted to the drawer. You're lying, he whispered, but it sounded weak, even to himself. I'm not, Daniel said. I'm you, 10 years from now. The world tilted. Marcus gripped the desk. If that's true, why are you calling me? Because I didn't listen, Daniel said. Not at first. I thought it was a prank, or stress. By the time I realized, it was too late. Too late for what? A breath, heavy, broken. For her. Marcus frowned. For who? Silence. Daniel, Marcus pressed. For who? But the line went dead. The calls continued, each night a new warning, a gas leak, a bridge accident, a robbery turned violent, and each time Marcus acted. Sometimes he called it in, sometimes he went himself, and each time he was right. His show changed. No longer just a place for confessions, it became something else, urgent, alive. Listeners noticed, ratings climbed. But Marcus didn't care about that anymore. He cared about the pattern. The warnings were getting closer, more personal, and Daniel was getting more desperate. Tonight is different, Daniel said one evening, his voice strained. Marcus's heart sank. What happens? A long pause. Lila, Daniel said. Marcus's blood ran cold. What about her? She stays late after the show. There's a man. No. Marcus stood abruptly, knocking his chair back. No. Tell me where. Tell me when. 2:26 a.m. Parking garage. Level 3. Marcus didn't wait for the rest. He grabbed his keys and ran. The garage was nearly empty. 2:24 a.m. Marcus scanned the levels, breath ragged. Lila? He shouted. No answer. 2:25. Footsteps echoed somewhere in the distance. Marcus followed the sound, heart hammering. Then he saw them. Lila, backing away, eyes wide. And a man, hooded, advancing. Hey! Marcus yelled, sprinting forward. The man turned, startled. For a moment, everything froze. Then the man bolted. Marcus didn't chase him. He went straight to Lila. Are you okay? She nodded shakily. I think so. He just came out of nowhere. Marcus, how did you know? Marcus hesitated. Then, for the first time, he told the truth. The next night, Lila sat beside him in the studio. You're saying you've been talking to your future self? She said, incredulous. I know how it sounds. It sounds insane. I know. She studied him for a long moment. Then, "But you've been right. Every time." Marcus nodded. "So what happens now?" He looked at the blinking lines. As if on cue, line 3 lit up. Marcus took a breath and answered. "Daniel." "You told her," Daniel said. "Yes." A pause. Then, softer. "Good." Marcus frowned. "Why does that matter?" "Because this is where things change." Marcus's pulse quickened. "Change how?" Another long silence. Then Daniel said, "This is the last call." Marcus's chest tightened. "What? Why?" "Because this is the moment I couldn't fix," Daniel said. "The one that broke everything." Marcus leaned forward. "Then tell me. Tell me what happened so I can stop it." A breath. Unsteady. "You don't get a warning this time," Daniel said. "You get a choice." "What kind of choice?" Another pause. Then, quietly, "At 2:03 a.m., the studio will catch fire." Marcus's heart stopped. "It starts in the wiring," Daniel continued. "You'll smell it before you see it." Marcus's mind raced. "Okay, then I'll get everyone out." "No," Daniel said sharply. "If you leave, if you shut down the show, the call never happens." Marcus blinked. "What?" "I only exist here," Daniel said, "on this line. If you end the broadcast, you lose me and everything I know." Marcus felt the weight of it settle in. "If you stay," Daniel went on, "you can keep listening, keep saving people. Hundreds, maybe more." "And the fire?" A long, heavy silence. "You don't make it out," Daniel said. The studio felt suddenly too small. Marcus looked at Lila, at the glass, at the microphone that had been his life for years. "Daniel," he whispered, "you're asking me to die." "I'm asking you to choose," Daniel said. "One life or many." Marcus closed his eyes. All those voices, all those nights, all the people he'd already saved. And Lila, standing just a few feet away. He exhaled slowly. Then he reached for the mic. "Lila," he said, his voice steady now. "I need you to leave." "What?" "No, Marcus, please," he said. "Trust me." She stared at him, tears in her eyes. "You're not coming with me, are you?" He didn't answer. He didn't have to. Lila shook her head, backing away. "You're an idiot," she whispered. "A hero, but an idiot." She ran. Marcus watched her go. Then he turned back to the mic. "Good evening, Night Owls," he said, voice calm. "You're listening to After Hours with Marcus Hale. Let's talk." The smell of smoke crept in. The lines lit up. And somewhere in the static between moments, a voice, his voice, whispered, "Thank you." Years later, people would still talk about that night, about the host who stayed on the air as the fire consumed the studio, guiding callers, warning them, saving lives until the very end. They called him a hero, a legend. But in quiet moments, when the night was deep and the radio hummed just right, some listeners swore they could still hear him, listening, waiting, and telling the truth. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.